Hello everyone, Tina Spalding, Trance Channel here today for our Course in Miracles text reading lesson and commentary by Jesus. Today we are going to read A Course in Miracles chapter 11, part 3, From Darkness to Light. When you are weary, remember you have hurt yourself. Your comforter will rest you, but you cannot. You do not know how. For if you did, you could never have grown weary. Unless you hurt yourself, you could never suffer in any way, for that is not God's will for his Son. Pain is not of him, for he knows no attack, and his peace surrounds you silently. God is very quiet, for there is no conflict in him. Conflict is the root of all evil, for being blind it does not see whom it attacks. Yet it always attacks the Son of God, and the Son of God is you. God's Son is indeed in need of comfort, for he knows not what he does, believing his will is not his own. The kingdom is his, and yet he wanders homeless. At home in God he is lonely, and amid all his brothers he is friendless. Would God let this be real when he did not will to be alone himself? And if your will is his, it cannot be true of you, because it is not true of him. O my child, if you knew what God wills for you, your joy would be complete. And what he wills has happened, for it was always true. When the light comes and you have said, God's will is mine, you will see such beauty that you will know it is not of you. Out of your joy, you will create beauty in his name. For your joy could no more be contained than his. The bleak little world will vanish into nothingness, and your heart will be so filled with joy that it will leap into heaven and into the presence of God. I cannot tell you what this will be like, for your heart is not ready. Yet I can tell you and remind you often that what God wills for himself, he wills for you, and what he wills for you is yours. The way is not hard, but it is very different. Yours is the way of pain, of which God knows nothing. That way is hard indeed and very lonely. Fear and grief are your guests, and they go with you and abide with you on the way. But the dark journey is not the way of God's Son. Walk in light and do not see the dark companions, for they are not fit companions for the Son of God, who was created of light and in light. The great light always surrounds you and shines out from you. How can you see the dark companions in a light such as this? If you see them, it is only because you are denying the light. But deny them instead, for the light is here and the way is clear. God hides nothing from his Son, even though his Son would hide himself. Yet the Son of God cannot hide his glory, for God wills him to be glorious and gave him the light that shines in him. You will never lose your way, for God leads you. And when you wander, you but undertake a journey that is not real. The dark companions, the dark way, are all illusions. Turn towards the light, for the little spark in you is part of a light so great that it can sweep you out of all darkness forever. For your Father is your Creator, and you are like him. The children of light cannot abide in darkness, for darkness is not in them. Do not be deceived by the dark comforters, and never let them enter the mind of God's Son, for they have no place in his temple. When you are tempted to deny him, remember that there are no other gods to place before him, and accept his will for you in peace, for you cannot accept it otherwise. Only God's comforter can comfort you. In the quiet of his temple, he waits to give you the peace that is yours. Give his peace, that you may enter the temple and find it waiting for you. But be holy in the presence of God, or you will not know that you are there. For what is unlike God cannot enter his mind, because it was not his thought, and therefore does not belong to him. And your mind must be as pure as his, if you would know what belongs to you. Guard carefully his temple, for he himself dwells there and abides in peace. You cannot enter God's presence with the dark companions beside you, but you also cannot enter alone. All your brothers must enter with you, for until you have accepted them, you cannot enter. For you cannot understand wholeness unless you are whole, and no part of the Son can be excluded if he would know the wholeness of his Father. In your mind, you can accept the whole sonship and bless it with the light your Father gave it. Then you will be worthy to dwell in the temple with him, because it is your will not to be alone. God blessed his Son forever. If you will bless him in time, you will be in eternity. Time cannot separate you from God if you use it on behalf of the eternal. Wow, it's beautiful. Okay, that was A Course in Miracles, Chapter 11, Part 3, From Darkness to Light. Let's see what Jesus has to say about this excerpt. You are blessed beings indeed. I am that one that you know as Jesus. These are difficult times that are upon the world. You are feeling it. You are seeing it. You are worrying about it. This excerpt from the text tells you how to develop a peaceful mind. To develop a peaceful mind, you cannot look at the darkness. And this is one of the ways that in these tumultuous days on earth, you are being led astray. You are being led astray by the shadows, by the darkness, by the fear. And you will remember a few years ago that it was fear that was used to create confusion. It was fear that was used to undermine your logical minds, to undermine your intelligence, and to cause many to make poor decisions and to suffer incredibly. Many of these beings are still suffering today because they listened to fear and they followed the shadow people. So this text reading today is a reminder for you. You have all experienced what the shadow brings, and on a daily basis you experience what the shadow brings by feeling down, feeling confused, worrying about the future. When you are in communication with the divine or the Holy Spirit or fellow brothers and sisters who are on a path of lightness, you will not feel down, you will not feel dark, you will not feel afraid. And so it is very, very important at this time in your Earth's history and in its evolution for you to really listen to how you feel when you listen to information. Listen to information that inspires. Listen to information that encourages. Listen to information that makes you feel as if there is something good for you to do on this earth plane at this time, for that is indeed so. And that is how you know that you will be in alignment with God's will for you. Because when you are in alignment with God's will for you, you will feel better, you will feel happier, you will want to be healthier and more creative and more communicative. In the shadow people's world, you will want to isolate, you will want to judge, you will want to squirrel away your possessions so you don't lose them. In the Holy Spirit's thought system, which leads you to God's realm, you will feel happier, you will feel more joyful, you will feel like reaching out to like-minded beings. And so pay attention to how you feel these days as media inundates you with information. This is not going to change. This is going to increase over time. And so it is time to nip it in the bud by using your God-given guidance system, that invisible umbilical cord that you have been given, which is connecting you to the divine. Even though you have come into separation, you have not been abandoned. You have guides and teachers. You have the Holy Spirit to communicate with and through. And you will know that you are on track by how you are feeling. If any of you are listening to this and you do not feel good, look at what you have been watching or listening to or who you have been talking to. You are the captain of your own ship. You decide what goes into this body-mind complex, both in information, entertainment, food and drinks, all of those things. You decide. You cannot blame anyone else. You must curate your life so that you are letting only light images in. You are not letting dark images in. If you feel that you want to know what's happening in the world, go online for 5 minutes to a podcast or a newscast, 5 minutes alone, and you will see. There is no benefit to you in knowing those things, in seeing those images, in believing that propaganda. This is the propaganda that you want to listen to. The voice for love, the voice for light, the guidance that says, go within, learn how you function, learn how your mind works, learn how your feelings guide you. You have everything that you need to be happy and at peace within you. You have never been abandoned. I am that one that you know as Jesus, and I will speak to you again soon. Okay, thank you for joining me. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.